Let's get going. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the call. Thank you so much for taking the time. I think, this, as SAPICS, we are very, very excited that we're actually doing the 46th conference together with Uphaven, and that makes us very happy. Uphaven have been running this conference for many years and successfully. And, as you all know, SAPICS is here to elevate, educate, and empower supply chain professionals. And change is the new normal. I think you've all realized that things have not as they used to be. Things change all the time, and that's why a conference like this is so important. We have a very rigorous process about choosing the speakers, and we want to make sure that what we show at the conference and what is being told at the conference and the information you receive is up to date. It's the latest trends, and ensures that you get that opportunity to network and learn and take back all these learnings to your business to ensure that you as a business are informed and are up to date with what's happening. So for me, the SAPICS conference is one of the biggest events for us. I think it's one of the biggest events also in sub-Saharan Africa, and to miss it, I think would be really losing an opportunity to learn and to meet new people and to drive your businesses. So I'd like to hand over now to Jenny, who's from Uphaven, and their team have done a huge amount of work already and are busy preparing for the conference. So I'm going to thank you now, and I'm sure I'm going to thank you at the conference as well, to get everything together to make sure that this is one of the top class conferences that we have always been able to hold. Over to you, Jenny.
Thanks, everybody. Oh, thanks, MJ, first of all. And thanks, everybody, for being here. I'm going to apologize in advance because we have just started load shedding, but so far, so good. I'm going to ask Cindy if she wouldn't mind sharing a slide presentation that I put together. It's really just because we like visuals and you don't want to be staring at me waffling for the next 20 minutes or so. And really, we're just going to take the opportunity to talk to you about the conference. And what I've done is I've done a little bit about the history and then all the other exciting things that there are around the event. It's something that we are exceptionally passionate about. Personally, I've been involved with this event since 1996. I know I don't look old enough, but really I am. All these grey hairs at the SAPICS conference. But it is something that when I first moved to South Africa, it was our very first event as an Uphaven management client, and SAPICS has always held a very special place, not least of which because it has introduced me to the incredible world of supply chain management and the amazing professionals who manage supply chains. So by putting the association with SAPICS together with the event management, I think it's added an extra dimension in that the SAPICS conference is very well known now for its content as well as the exceptional value. So for those of you who haven't been before, then welcome. For those of you who have been before, and I see Ken Titmus in the audience, who has been more times than all of us put together, I think, almost. So thank you, Ken, always for your tremendous support. This is the first time we've done the InfoFest, so learn with us, and please, the chat is there for a reason. Put any questions you have and we'll do our best collectively to find answers for you. Next slide, please, Cindy. So a little bit of the history, like I mentioned, we've been involved with SAPICS in the annual conference since 1996. It's a very long time, but when we first started with this, it was an event of about 300 people with almost as many exhibitors as there were. In fact, the exhibitors made up the delegate base. We had great support from the American partner, ASCM at the time, or APICS at the time. And 1997 became the first time South Africa was privileged to hold the international version of this event, which I had somebody come up to me at the event, someone from America, who said, "Isn't it amazing that this can happen in Africa?" And so I think we've kept on showing the rest of the world since then how we can keep on doing it better and better and better. And for those of you who saw Colin Seftel's post on LinkedIn just now, who mentioned that the SAPICS annual conference is one of the best he's ever attended, thank you, Colin. But there are lots of people who say the same thing. So blowing our own horn, it is a great conference, but it's a great conference because it's run by a community, and community is absolutely everything. There's no one person or one organization that dictates with this. It truly is a collective event. And now we're excited to be celebrating the 46th anniversary conference, and that's a lot of years and it's a lot of substance. And the fact that the event has sort of got more and more popular as the years have gone by, and that we've survived the COVID years, which were challenging, but we had some very successful online events, which was testament really to the reputation of SAPICS and the annual conference itself. We moved to Century City in the Western Cape in 17, I think, having been at Sun City for many years. We were there for about 13 years, and we moved with the prime objective to try to make the conference a little more professional and business-like. We all know that Sun City is a marvelous destination and great fun, but after a while, I think the reputation can sometimes be that it's a bit of a party place, and there were a few companies that were changing their mind about letting people come to the conference. So whilst we maintained the level of professionalism, I think that the venue itself gave the impression that it was a holiday. So it was time to change, and we moved to Century City, and it had exactly the effect that we wanted. We the event itself streamlined. We ended up not improving, but we ended up elevating the profile of the delegate. So a more senior delegate attended, which then meant the sponsors were happy and the exhibitors were happy. And so everybody was happy, including us, because Century City really is a wonderful venue to be at. And the beauty of it from a SAPICS conference perspective is that every single person in that venue is either working there or is at the conference for those 3 days. So it's a totally immersive opportunity for all of us to be at the conference. And this venue also pays a lot of attention to sustainability from a water resource perspective and various other good things that make us proud to use it as a venue. Thanks, Cindy. This is about the theme. Now, there's big debate always whether a theme is necessary. And we've had discussion year on year as to whether it's necessary. And I think that it helps people to hone their presentation, to make it more focused, to pull everybody together with a generic theme that actually can be interpreted however you want it to be interpreted. This one, I think, is particularly clever because of where we are right now in the world, and with the variety of global crises that are going on. And every single thing is affecting global supply chains, which in turn, as we all know, has a knock-on on absolutely everything else. So how can we actually talk about the whole metamorphosis? It's a horrible word to say, but it's a great theme of the supply chain. And this is where I think that now, and COVID did one favor for us, which was to put supply chain management on everybody's lips, and everybody's talking about it. You can't switch on the news these days without somebody referencing somebody's supply chain being affected by crisis, by wars or by environmental issues, or literally through politics or anything. It really is something that everybody thinks they understand, which means that supply chain professionals have to be one step ahead all the time. SAPICS, from a South African perspective, is also a great gateway to the global supply chain community, which it has developed for many, many years, and it was wonderful to see so many people from different countries attend the event last year, and we're hoping for an increase in the international delegation going forwards. The facts, which aren't really very facts, but we are anticipating more than 800 supply chain professionals, and the beauty of this, and we're never going to underestimate it again after all the years of this type of presentation, but to be in the same place at the same time is something quite marvelous, and that is something that we're very proud of. And I think that the number is quality, and it's an amazing atmosphere. As I said, just before we move to this slide, there were over 30 different countries represented last year, and I think we're going to increase on that this year. So if that's something that's of interest to you, it really is it's a global event. The choice, the variety of presentations in different formats is overwhelming is the wrong word, but it's sort of an InfoFest in itself. It is quite extraordinary, and it's something that I think you'd be mad to miss out on, in all honesty. We've got senior supply chain practitioners from multiple industries, and that's all the more valid, all the more illustrated by the partnership with the Southern African Association for Freight Forwarders, which we did for the first year last year, and we're very excited to be repeating that this year, because both the presentations and the delegates who attended, as well as the exhibitors, brought in different people to share their experiences and knowledge, and really did illustrate the end of the supply chain nature of this event. That, with the introduction of the global health supply chain track, where their mission is really to try to integrate global health supply chains and make people understand that it is supply chain best practice that matters more than anything else. Whatever industry you're in, if you're not managing your supply chains properly, then you will never have an effective supply chain. And the SAPICS conference is the place to learn how to manage your supply chain properly. Despite the size of the exhibition, which is the venue itself is quite compact, we have over 40 companies exhibiting up-to-the-minute products and services, which you need to know about. And I think this is one area that face-to-face exhibitions, from an exhibitor perspective and also from a buyer's perspective, it was so hard to do online, and especially where there are tangible products and services. That's where this event is so special, because you've got 2.5 days where the exhibitors are right there and you can spend time with them throughout the experience. There's a little graphic here, which I think, second guess yourself. Why do you go to an industry event? You go for all these reasons, but the SAPICS conference really does encapsulate everything, including the thing that I think is the very most important, which is the last one, is that how do we provide you as the attendee with takeaways, be that as an exhibitor or a sponsor with new leads and new contacts, or as a delegate with new skills, new contacts to help you in situations that you've been looking for solutions. And in the words of Scott Luton from Supply Chain Now, it's always so important that we don't turn another conference into a talk shop, that we provide solutions, that we provide tangible takeaways, so that we can put action into place, so that it's deeds and not words. It's so important. Outline of the program: day 1, Sunday, all-day workshops, Monday all-day conference with a fun networking evening in the exhibition. Tuesday is the same as Monday, and we have a super closing dinner, which is a great networking and fun event after 2.5 days of hard work. And then on the morning of Tuesday, we've got a variety of site visits. Now, I will stress to you that the programme and all the information here is going to change. Obviously, the outline is not going to change, but the people who are contributing and getting involved, that's changing on a daily basis, which is really exciting for us to see. Speakers make the programme. So you're not going to come if there's nothing worth listening to, are you? We've got so many fabulous speakers talking about so many interesting topics. The hardest thing is going to be to choose what to go to. And I kid you not, really, there's something for everybody. On the Sunday, the workshop selection is extraordinary. There are really hands-on learning experiences like the DD Bricks factory, which introduces the whole demand-driven material requirements planning. How did I do, Ken? Thumbs up. Another acronym to add to your dictionary. But that's one of the most popular workshops that we have ever held. And it's practical and it's great fun, but at the end of the day, it gives you the skills to take away, which is what we were talking about earlier. Forecasting accuracy, supply chain transformation. And I think this is something that is a fantastic point. We're all talking about sustainability, but can you be profitable and sustainable? And Tracy Cheatham's going to help us to answer that question. You'll see sustainability is a very common thread throughout the programme. It's obviously top of mind, and it's very interesting to see how different people are bringing examples to the programme. The programme itself has got a breadth of knowledge that's being shared. There are sessions that are interactive, like the Africa Cafe, where it's very much a roundtable discussion, to panel sessions with government and people talking about how, from a South African point of view, we can be doing things better. The National Logistics Crisis Committee was shared with us all last year, and hopefully we're going to get an update on where it is and where we are going as a country. Various things about emergency supply chain, humanitarian aid, trying to integrate the global health supply chain using illustrative examples of the blood supply chain with South African National Blood Services, and various things that affect us all as human beings, that as supply chain professionals, we can actually add value to those particular supply chains. This is really just a very high-level snapshot of some of our keynote speakers and some of our international speakers, as well as a couple of well-known local supply chain practitioners who are being very brave and coming to share their stories. And I say very brave because a lot of practitioners are not professional speakers, nor do they do professional speaking very often. So my hat is always off to practitioners who are prepared to stand up and share their case study, share their pains and their anguish and their successes. And I think that this is something, we've got a couple of really great case studies that are going to be shared at the conference. So please just make sure you keep your eye on the website all the time, because it's changing all the time. We're also going to be doing a lot of announcements that Claire has got lined up to do for SAPICS members and the broader supply chain community. Sponsorship, wow, what a fabulous example of how the industry and private sector and public sector are supporting supply chain management and supporting this event. We're not yet overwhelmed by sponsorships. We welcome more, But at the same time, we are totally excited by the commitment and the dedication and just the sheer support that the conference is getting this year. So thank you to all these organisations who are sponsoring, and there are more coming on board as I speak. So it's very exciting for all of us. A few little happy snaps of the exhibition, which I have mentioned a couple of times, which is a great area for networking. And you'll see different people, different organisations have used their space differently. It's a really fun area where there's lots to learn. And our exhibition is nearly sold out, which is something that's really so exciting, especially after the 2 years of not, really 2.5 years of not having a SAPICS conference in its traditional format. 2 years online, 1 year in June, as we were all still wearing masks. Can you believe? I can't even get my head around it. So it's very exciting to see everything starting to get back to the way things were and improving from 2020, when we had such an exciting program and everything lined up, and then we had to undo everything we were doing. So we keep fingers and toes and everything else crossed that that never happens again. The site visits on the Wednesday, this is just a few of them. We've got another few in production, as it were. There are some very exciting ones. We also always include a leisure activity, which is sort of supply chain related. And this one is at Sandcob, and it's particularly focused around saving the penguins and rehabilitating penguins, which I think is going to be fascinating. You actually go behind the scenes, and it's a brilliant tour. The K-Way one is always very popular. Take a lot, everyone wants to see it. And Heineken with the new positioning of that organization, I think that that's also going to be very interesting. But again, reference the website, keep looking. And also, if you've got any suggestions or proposals, not just for the conference, but also for SAPICS throughout the year, because it's something that the SAPICS member loves. And from young supply chain professionals to seasoned supply chain professionals, the site visits never ever get boring. So if your organization thinks they've got something that they would like to share and show off, please make contact, because we always love a site visit. Registration fees, I'm going to whiz through the money side of it, because A, my mother taught me always never to talk about money, and B, it's all on the website. So what's included in the registration fees is access to the conference program on the Monday and the Tuesday. You need to pay a little bit extra if you would decide to attend a workshop on the Sunday or a site visit on the Wednesday. The reason behind that, the site visits on the Wednesday, there are transport costs and some element of cost involved. So literally it's a nominal fee that covers those costs. And from a workshop perspective, the admin fee is raised because it makes sure that people who book attend. So it's a very nominal fee, but what happened in the past, because it was free, people would register and then they didn't turn up. And we found over the last 5 years that this has been a really good way of ensuring that people register and that they do turn up. So if you would like a full package, then all you need to do is contact us and say this is what you would like, and we can do you a quote with no problem at all. There is a sliding scale of registration fees. SAF and SAPICS members get a discount, and it's a good discount. It's basically, from a SAPICS point of view, it's almost your registration, your membership fee. It's well worth registering. The early bird registration fee expires at the end of March. So that's in 2 weeks' time. And we've got Easter coming up and disjointed weeks. So if you are going to come and you haven't registered yet, I really, really encourage you to get your registration in and your payment in to qualify for that discount. Because as you can see, it's a significant discount. The closing registration fees I haven't put on here because they only kick in just before the conference, but really the difference between 9,750 and 12,000, any organisation needs to see the value in snapping that up. We do also do group discounts. So if you've got a group of people that you want to bring, then please make contact with us and we will be very happy to extend those group discounts. Exhibition stand costs, again, all this information is on the website. There are different sizes of stands, but there are very few available. So if you or anyone you know is interested in exhibiting, get in touch now. Fun thing, corporate social responsibility, just so that you know, it's not all about knowledge and whatever money and all the sponsors and whatever. We do give back and our delegates give back. And last year, I think we smashed some sort of Rise Against Hunger by packing a huge number of boxes in a record amount of time, which we jolly well should have done because everybody packing was something to do with supply chain, but it worked and it's great fun and we'll be doing it again. The Hoover app is something that we love to boast about, that we use. We recently used it at another event and people described it as a game changer. It enables you, we're all much more familiar with the app now, with the whole online thing, and it enables you to network before the conference. So the sooner you register, the sooner you can get access to the app, and the sooner you can start to network, set up meetings, organize your program, really get yourself prepared for the conference and keep in touch with any changes that are posted throughout the app. It's really user-friendly and it's very, very good indeed. And then this is Uphaven Management. As MJ said at the beginning, we've been a partner of SAPICS for many years, since 1996, in fact. And any conference inquiry, the SAPICS team is growing, but it still has a lot of work to do from a membership, keeping members happy, etc., etc. So we try to take a little bit of the load off and deal with the day-to-day conference management inquiries. So if you've got any questions at all, don't hesitate to come to us. And sometimes inquiries do go astray and they come to us about conference and people have got questions about membership. Don't worry, we will pass everything through to all the right people. We know who the brilliant people are at SAPICS that can answer all your other questions. And I think that's it. Who's got questions? I see the chat is really quiet. Was I so brilliant that I gave you all the information that you needed to know?
Jenny, I've just been onto the Hoover app. Is it working at the moment? I can't find it.
No, it hasn't gone live yet, Ken.
Oh, okay.
It will go live. It will probably go live towards the end of April. It all depends, you know, over the years, booking patterns have changed dramatically. And I think the last 2 years, deadlines have sort of been ignored. And the last 10 days are totally manic with people registering very late. So we're hoping that we can encourage a slightly earlier registration pattern this year, but who knows?
Thanks, Jenny. Any questions from anybody? I think it was pretty comprehensive, so we will send the recording to all of you so that if you want to refer to anything, have a look at the slides. But as Jenny said, please feel free to phone the Uphaven or SAPICS teams to get some more specific information. Sorry. Ronald has a question, Jen.
So there are a couple of academic, there's one on, I think there's one being planned on the state of logistics. So there is always a reference to academics and the academic supply chain. And I know that SAPICS is also planning quite an exciting session, which Claire, do you want to give a little bit more about or wait until it's really ready to launch?
I'll just give it a high level sort of explanation, but the idea really is to encourage communication and information flow between industry and academic institutions. And even starting the conversation with looking at what the higher education body wants from an academic institution for school leavers going into studying supply chain degrees. And I'm using that word very broadly because each academic institution calls it different things. So we will be having academics and industry representatives on a panel and discussing what is important. Thanks, Ronald. I think I will do right that.
Yeah, you do that.
And that so that's great. So that's a high level, and just working on the panelists, and I have a moderator lined up, and it's all very exciting, and we'll be adding the detail into the program in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for your interest. I'll contact
Started the discussion in 2016. Sorry, it says my internet is unstable. So we started the discussion in 2016, and through one thing and another, it's just really great to see it being started again, because it's just so important. As Ronald, I'm sure you're aware, and thanks to Claire and SAPICS for bringing it up again.
Great. As you know, we are holding this conference in association with SARS, the South African Freight Forwarding Association of Southern Africa. I think I didn't say that right. Sorry, Defiso. So I just wondered if you wanted to say a few words on that. Sorry for getting it wrong. Please correct me, and maybe just a few words on your involvement, and thank you for the partnership.
Oh, thank you, Claire. Well, I just want to congratulate Jenny with the wonderful presentation that she gave us. I think it's just self-explanatory, and we are ready to share it with our members. Hoping that everyone will be running to Cape Town for the SAPICS conference. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Great. So we'll share the link and the slides with everybody. And thank you for your time today. And if you have any specific questions, please reach out to us. Thank you, MJ, for your time, and to the Upper Avon team and SAPICS team on the call as well.
Thanks, everyone, for joining.